Morning, guys. So today I'm going to walk you through Thanksgiving feast, and because we're dealing with a file other than just our Java code, I'll be showing you in both repl.it and NetBeans IDE. Um, if you're using another IDE or a different operating system, it might be slightly different, but both of these are the two most common that my students are using. So Mike can help you with those otherwise. So if I check the assignment, Thanksgiving feast, write a program that reads in a file. It has a list of items, but it also has a bit of metadata at the top. It tells us how many food items we actually have in the list. So the demo we did in class had a while loop that just read until it finished. This one, we're actually going to have to use a for loop and set it. It's reminding us we need to use our exceptions, and we just want to print out this kind of stuff here. I like blank. Well, first thing we need to do is we need to take care of the other file. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this information, and I'm going to shift over to repl.it. So here's a clean repl.it. I just set it up. To get an extra file in repl.it, I come right over here, and I press this add file. Now I can name it whatever I want. I'm going to keep it real simple this time, food.txt. And the reason I do it that way instead of just making something else up is because that's similarly to how we'll do it in NetBeans as well. I paste the information there, I've got all my information, and I jump back to main. I am done, I don't have to mess with that again. Over here, personal preference, I know, but I'm going to rearrange slightly. Okay. So I'm reading from a file, which means I need both imports. So java.util is what we use to get the scanner information. Java.io is what we use specifically for additional inputs and outputs, in this case, a second file. Okay. Inside my code, I need a scanner. I'll call this one read. New information in here, so once I get to this point, now I reuse my new command and I tell it I'm reading a file, and then inside this I type in my name. It is a string, it is read, so just make sure that it's taken care of. And then up here I need to make sure I throws exception. Okay. Now, the reason I use exception is because that's the umbrella. That will get rid of all exceptions. If you use the specific one mentioned in the program or any others, those are just one type of exception. This gets all of them. So just the same reason we use up at the top, we use our imports with the wildcard, the asterisks. This just covers all our bases. Okay. All right, so in this case, remember we're going for the for loop. So the first thing I'm reading is I'm reading the integer. So int num equals read.nextInt. Okay, so that's going to grab my metadata, my 5. But that's going to leave my cursor after the 5, and I'll get our old friend the string glitch if we do. So when I grab it in this manner, that's where my cursor stops. So in order to clear the buffers and move it here, which is where I actually want to start, I just call the scanner one more time, and I just don't bother saving anywhere. Now I can make my for loop. Integer is your choice. I always go for I equal to 0. I is less than num. I plus plus. So now that I'm inside the loop, I want to grab the string and print it using my updated sentence. So I'll make a string variable to hold it. Food equals read.nextLine. Some of them are one word, some of them are 2 words, so line grabs everything. And then I've got my print statement, and then I just say I like space, and then whatever is stored in food, and then I'll finish it off with a period. Okay? Over here, run the code. There you go. All right, so that's the repl.it version. Let's do the same thing, but we'll do it in NetBeans. All right. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to take care of our text file. Now, in NetBeans, the location you save the file is important just for simplicity's sake. So I'm going to go to my folder, Documents, NetBeans, and then in whichever project I'm using. If you don't recall, you can always open up and see where your projects are. So the red ones are projects. I'm going to do this under recorded since I've got this folder specifically for videos I've made. This is where my text file needs to be, just right here. If you're on a Windows machine and you didn't know, here's your shortcut. Make a quick text file right here. We'll call it the same thing we did earlier, food, and just like in our sample, this is a txt file, okay? So that way our code will be almost identical, and inside it is where I paste, oops, grab my information again. I'll paste it here, and I have to make sure I save it, okay? Repl.it saved automatically. This one needs a little bit extra work. So now I jump in here, class Thanksgiving feast. Okay. Again, I need both imports. And I need to go ahead and make my scanner. There we go. I could technically just copy paste, which is what I'm going to do right here now that I've made this stuff. And there's a for loop, there's that looks everything. And let's run it and see if we get it. Oh, I forgot my exception. Yep. Throws. Exception. There you go. Same situation. Now, I will show you also the string glitch. If I did not clear my buffers, I'd get an extra line that would only be the period. And so that's what we're avoiding right now. Also, because it counted that line and we're doing a for loop, you notice I lose that fifth food. So that's why we have this in here to clear the buffer. All right. Thank you very much.